Hello there guys, and welcome back to our car modeling tutorial. And today in this episode we are going to continue working on our base mesh here. I'm hoping that we're going to be close to completing the base mesh before we run around and do some optimization. For the optimization I'm hoping to kind of get rid of a lot of the information on the roof here. But it looks like we've only really got this gap to kind of fill in, but before we start with that, we also have obviously the intake here as well. But before we start with that, I have been spending a little bit of time pulling some points in and around certain areas inside here, but what I'm going to do just now is we just need to make a small change up here. So if I go into my side view, we can see that we're wanting our intersection to kind of run down here. We're not looking too good in there just this second, so let's go in here. I'm going to go in, we'll just grab the edge. So I think we're going to take that one there, and we're going to want that to come in something like this. When we smooth that, we will get a bit more of that curve to it, but we'll worry about that curve a little bit more later on. But we'll pull that in so it's going to match on that line, and then we just want to do the same down here. We're going to grab this one, I'm going to pull that one back across there too, and then I just want to kind of soften off what we have. So I'm going to go around here, just going to make sure we're kind of following how we should do all the way around, so including at the top here. Something like that. Okay, so we're just kind of softening that as it runs around, so that's looking a lot better at the back there. So that's kind of the first thing I wanted to worry about inside here. Let's maybe think then up here. So we do have a little bit extra on the roof. I think maybe what we'll do is we'll run up this bit here. We do need to kind of match geometry down here as well, because we do obviously have something going on in here. And then of course we have our intake, which we should hopefully see on the top view here. We can see where that intake is kind of starting, and we can also see how we need to get more geometry in here as well to kind of facilitate the space that we need for the wheel inside here. Now I haven't managed to find too many angles of what it kind of looks like inside there. It's a little hard to kind of determine, but I'm fairly certain this is just fairly straight as it runs up and through here. Again, I can't really see what this is in terms of the actual car. So we'll just continue. So let's maybe go then and start from the back. So let's maybe start from around this area here, because I'd rather get all of this shape kind of nailed first, and then we start to add geometry inside there just to kind of bridge the gap between what's going on. So we're already up here, which is fine. So I'm going to take these two edges here. I'm going to hit Control E on these ones. We're going to bring this around here, and it's important to keep as much or as little geometry on this as possible, because I don't know where we're going to be meeting when it comes over here. So we do want to try and keep that as minimal as possible. Let's maybe start bringing that up, because we can see we need to run along there. So we'll take that up a little bit higher there. So something like that. I'm not going to worry about doing anything to attach anything. All I'm caring just now is about positioning of things. So let's go down here and we bring this over here. I'm going to drop in maybe just a line like that. So just going from this vertices to there, because we do have more of a curve there, which I kind of want to emulate as we go. Again, that could be something that we change in the future, but we definitely want to have that in there just now. So let's go take these edges again. I'm going to hit Control E, and I'm going to pull these up, maybe just something like that. So we're just going to the top of that extra little seam, and again we want to be pulling this up to kind of match as we go up there. I'm going to hit Control E again. I'm going to start to work around up here. I'll bring that up too. Okay, and then I'm going to go one more time. I'm going to hit Control E, and we're going to go all the way up to the top bit just here. Okay. What I'm going to want to do is let's maybe have a look at reforming a little bit of this. We'll do something like that. Let's maybe take this one back. Let's kind of bring that around the corner there. And then let's maybe do the same with this one. Let's maybe have this going up here. And again, what we could do is we could add more in here. So we could go across there. We could maybe actually go all the way there. So it's going to give us our line for our kind of engine cover, but it's also going to meet nicely as we go down there as well. So we're starting to kind of form that top section up here. I think the last thing we want to do is take these ones, and in our side view, let me just check my references real quick. Yeah, so in our side view, let's bring that one all the way up here. Okay, so we're starting to kind of get that shape as we go up and around the top portion there. We can kind of see where we're going to be linking and joining in this section. Let me just isolate this so we're not worrying about anything else. We can also start to see where we're potentially going to have additional lines of geometry to help us kind of form what we have left inside there. I'm going to take these, let's isolate these as well, just so we're working, we've got that additional geometry up here. So in terms of what we have then, we also want to think about moving up and along here, because what I think we want to do is we do want to form the full geometry that goes underneath the kind of like the wing kind of span that comes along there. So I think what we want to do with this is we want this to kind of keep going. So let's maybe do that. So let's take this, I'm going to hit Control E. I'm just going to take this all the way along, maybe just something like that, and then let's raise that up just a little bit, and then this up there. So I'm thinking we do want that to span this whole way. Let's go in here and maybe just pull that back, maybe something like that. Okay. Now, what we'll maybe want to do over here is, just for now, I'm going to add a little bit of a line in there. Actually, no, let's not do that. Let's maybe take from this bit. Let's grab these ones here. I'm going to hit Control E, and let's pull that down here. Okay. And then obviously all of this here, as you can see in our side view, let me just bring that back in. We want this to drop down there. Okay. And then this one, potentially I'm going to hold down V and just snap to that portion. So I think we're going to want to do something like that just there. Okay, so that's looking okay. And then we've got this bit kind of spanning along and underneath here. Let me take this, all of these here. Maybe something like that. Okay, so we're starting to span underneath there. Now, what we need to understand as well is we've got all of this geometry already here. So let's maybe take these three. I'm going to hit Control E, and I'm going to go the one. I know I've got an extra line here, but I'm going to ignore that just for now. So I'm going to go along here. Now, what we need to understand is, I believe this one still should be running down perpendicular alongside there. So that should still be running down there. These two, however, so these top two, are more vertical. So we'll maybe pull up here and then up here. So we'll do something like that. Okay. I don't know how much we're going to see in our other views here, so this is where it's going to get a little bit awkward, because we're kind of running blind in here, but we'll pull those up so they're straight going up there. Let's go and take these edges again, and I'm going to ignore this one. I'm actually going to delete that face inside there, so I'm actually just going to keep extruding with these ones here. So let's maybe take those. I'm going to hit Control E. I'm going to take them along again, maybe just to the other side of the fuel cap here, maybe straighten them out a bit as well. So I'll take those there. I'm going to push them in here, just so I'm following that same kind of thickness consistently through there. And I'm going to hit Control E one more time, and let's just take that much further. Okay, so again, I'm just going to isolate the selection here. Okay, so it looks like what we could probably do is, let's maybe target weld this one over here, because that looks like it's going to fall nicely in line for us. And then using the rest of the geometry here, we could just pull those in. something like that. Let's maybe start to bring these in. We want to kind of match that same kind of trajectory as we go along there. Okay, something like that. And then let's see, so if we was to just simply bridge here to here, that's going to fall there, not too bad. We could do the same on that next bit, but instead what we'll maybe want to do is insert an edge loop on here, something like that. And again, we can use that inside here. That should allow us then to be able to bridge here. And then we'll be able to, just going to extrude here and then target weld. Take that one back there, just to fill in that gap inside there. Okay, now it's not looking good just now because obviously we have all these kind of weird angles, but what we can start to do is we can start to take these back here. Maybe as we go along, get a little bit further. And then obviously these ones we want to kind of come out as well. Okay, just to check our top view. So again, it's really hard to see on the top view. Maybe just make a bit more of a distance up there. I think that needs to come much further over. Just looking at my, that needs to be something more like that. Which means that all of these then can come much further over too. Okay, so that's not looking too bad. We know that this is roughly in the right spot for where we want that to be from our top view. So it looks like here then we're probably going to be coming a little bit more vertical for that. Okay, so we're kind of running along inside there. That's not looking too bad. So we're going to need to start thinking about matching geometry here then, because we are going to want to fill in all of this gap here in the side. So let's just jump in. I think our rear view will probably be a better option, kind of seeing what's going on here. So maybe that's kind of where that window stops. So we can kind of use this one to help maybe slope that off the best we can. So I'm just trying to look at all of these kind of curves, just make sure they're all manageable, make sure they're all kind of flowing how they should. So I think that's looking a little bit better in there. Okay. In here it's hard to see again because of the spoiler. Can't really see too much in our top view here, so I think what we're going to want to do is we're probably just going to simply want to maybe extrude down on this edge and then target weld those back like so. I think we'll maybe want to do that. We'll start to think about these edges coming down then to meet what we have here, so we know that's in the right spot for our intake. So it looks like we're going to need to probably bring in another one over here. Let me just get rid of that. Okay. Gonna want to obviously bring one up here too. Okay. Now obviously when we're dropping these in, we're going to need to pay close attention to our top view. So if we scroll back to where we just added this in, what we want to do is we just want to make sure we're still following those lines and everything inside there. Okay, I think that's okay. Let's maybe bridge this. So I'm going to go from here to here. I'm going to go to edit mesh and we'll bridge that. Now we're going to do the same here. So we're just going to bridge kind of as we go. We're just going to make sure that everything is looking nice as we do go along down here. Let's just take those there. So that's not looking too bad. Apologies if you guys can hear the construction that's going on outside. It's been a little bit sporadic over the last couple of days, which is a bit frustrating, but hopefully it's not going to be coming through the microphone too much. Let's maybe think about pushing that along there, because we're wanting to try and maintain curves and everything, make sure everything's looking good as well. So let's maybe drop some edge loops. We can always remove them later, so I'm going to drop one down here which is going to match to go up there. So let's go into our view here, and I'm going to pull this out here. You can see here that we maybe want to do the same with this. We'll pull that out just to kind of match what we have going along over there, because we're wanting to maintain this same kind of trajectory as we go through, because we can see here that we've still got this line there, so it actually looks like we may want to stretch a little bit further and further as we go, but we'll kind of see how that goes. We're going to want to drop one here. So again, let's jump into our top view, if I can find the button. I'm going to start to pull this out a little bit more, so we can see that we're matching up with that line there. And by pulling that out a little bit more, let's just make sure we're matching along here. And maybe take these top two back, maybe the top three back just a little bit. Okay, so I've got those in there, which is going to match up here for us. And again, we just want to make sure, we can see that I'm getting a little bit jagged here. You guys might not. You want to definitely pay a lot more attention than I am in these sessions to making sure your edge flow is looking good. But I'm going to grab these now. I'm going to bridge. I generally do that in between episodes. So a lot of what you guys don't see is me cleaning up a little bit of the kind of mess that I make rushing through in these sessions. But essentially through here, what I would be doing is pulling these points just so that we're getting all of this nice and smooth, and I would be doing this in between episodes, because we can see some of these on my examples a little bit jagged. Like I said, on yours it might not be so bad, which would be good, obviously. That's just something to consider that I do in between episodes. So let me now continue moving along down here. We have another line that we kind of want to match up here as well, so I'm going to grab my insert edge loop tool again, and again pull that out a little bit more and kind of get that bridge going on inside here. So we'll do something like that. Okay, it's going to get a little bit awkward here because we have a lot of edges that are kind of going into one space. So we've got a little bit of a vent here. So what I'm actually going to do here is I'm going to grab and pull this out, and I'm going to target weld over here and then target weld down there, because I think we're happy with kind of what we've got going on over here. I'm also going to bridge down here, so I'm just going to go to edit mesh, and I'm going to not bevel, I'm going to bridge that gap, and then I'm going to bridge here. Just going to bridge through there. Okay, and then let's go and grab our insert edge loop tool, drop it roughly in the center there, and I'm going to take this vertices from in behind here, and I'm going to target weld that one down here. So it's going to look something like that. And then at this point here, I think we've got the vent that's in this area, though it does look like we're sitting a bit high for that. Let me jump in my rear view. So we see that we are a little bit high there, but again, we don't really know where or how that's kind of sitting inside here. All we know is that that kind of looks like how it should be there. Maybe what we'll do is let's just bring these out a little bit more. So that's all we can really see for the vent, but I think when we actually get into it here, it doesn't look too good. I'm just going to check my references for this real quick. Yeah, so it actually looks like when the vent comes off, this just continues going down as usual off of this point. So maybe instead what we could do is, I'm thinking that we want it to be much further down, something like that. And that to be a bit further up. That to be a bit further down. Just looking at my references here and a bit further across as well. So it looks like that's more like what we actually want it to be, I think. Inside there. Let me just go on to my edge slide here, just to slide this down. Okay, something like that. So I think we're okay with that just now. We've got a couple of triangles in there, but that's not any real major concern. Let's maybe drag that and bring that over here. Okay. So we're wanting now to think about what we've got. Maybe what we'll do is let's get rid of that one. What I'm also going to do is I'm going to get rid of this just for now. So I'm going to double click there, hold down Control and hit delete inside there, just to make it a bit easier. I'm going to take all of this, and maybe we'll take this one too. I'm just going to hit Control. Actually, no, I think we can probably leave that line in. So we'll maybe just leave that actually, because that'll help us decide how far we're going to extrude to. So I'm going to grab all these. I'm going to hit Control E. I'm going to pull these across here, something like that. We don't want to straighten them off. So I'm going to pull these across and then maybe just pull it down just a little bit there. Okay. So let's hit some target worlds up real quick. So I'm going to target world down here for that one. And then towards the back, we're going to want target world up there. So I think what we're going to want to do for this is we are going to want to make sure that we're nice and smooth. I think I've got my edge transform still on, which I do. Okay, so the first thing we're going to want to do is we're going to make sure this runs nice and smooth up here. We do want to make sure we're kind of keeping an eye on our top view as well, because we can see up here where it's kind of forming too. So let's run into there, and then there, and then we can see that we're bringing these down inside here. Let me just turn down my emails there. Now again, we can't see too well, but we can get an idea of where these should go as we start to pull them in to match what we currently have. And then our only real one that's hidden there, we can just find like a good mid-ground inside there. Okay, so we've got like a nice curve that's running through there for us. We're going to need to add a little bit of geometry in some areas, but for the most part I think we'll probably be okay. Now what's awkward about this is obviously we have this bit here. Obviously this has some, at the front it has a little bit of depth to it, but it doesn't at the back, so let's maybe add that first. So I'm just going to go and take these here. We can see that we've got this coming through. Let's actually sort that real quick. I'm just going to grab this, push that down. Now I don't really care how much I push it down just yet, because we can reformat it a little bit later, but let's just push each of those down just so that they're kind of matching inside there. And let's grab that one, let's just push that under a little bit more, something like that. So we'll take these edges. I'm going to hit Control E. I'm just going to pull these down ever so slightly underneath there, and I'm going to go over here. I'm going to hold down V, and I'm just going to maybe snap to that one, and then just pull these down a little bit there. So do something like that. Okay. Now we've got multiple bits inside here, so we can see if I was to hide this, we've got multiple kind of edge loops and edge flows running down here. What we'll maybe want to do, let's just make sure that's nice and straight as well. What we'll maybe want to do is, we'll maybe want to try and get rid of some of these. So at least this one here. Push that up there. So we'll do something like that. Okay, so that shouldn't affect us too much going forward. That should be okay. If it does, that's probably a better option. So we'll just merge that last one there too. Okay. So we're going to need a little bit of extra geometry inside here because we're going to want to start bridging up here too. So I'm going to insert an edge loop at about this point. Okay. Not 100% sure why that stopped there. I don't know if I've got some kind of, oh, it's here, that's why. So I've got like an extra weird vertices there, so that's okay. Let's maybe get rid of it and just re-add it in then. So I'm going to go for an insert edge loop and drop this down here. So that's running all the way up there now, which is fine. This is bobbly and weird. Let me just double check up here. Just going to pull that in a little bit there. It's a little bit straighter. Let's grab this. Take that in as well. Okay. This I think I want to come a little bit further out here. So I'm just trying to make sure all this is nice and curved first. Okay. So let's go, I'm going to take this, grab this, and I'm going to bridge all the way down there. I'm going to do the same with these ones. I think that should line up fine. And then we could probably do the same here and here as well. So we're starting to get that channel that's running down and in between there. Now the next section isn't the same because the next bit here kind of forms with this like wing area here. So what we could maybe do is take all of this. I'm going to hit Control E. I'm going to pull this straight up because all of this probably correlates nicely to what we have here for our intake. So I'm going to pull that up straight. I'm going to use my reference images here just to kind of plot where it goes from the front. It looks like it goes to, looks like it goes in quite a bit. Maybe something like that. I'm going to scale it narrower. So I'm going to scale it in on both the blue and the red there. And then just kind of try and push it in. Something like that. So it's sitting how it should. I'm not too fussed about this end, I'm just really caring about that kind of front bit. So that's looking like it's following up there quite nicely. So I'll do something like that. It also goes all the way up. So I'm going to grab this first one. I'm going to take this all the way up here. Okay. I'm going in a little bit there. So I'm thinking that's going to be somewhere along there. Just maybe a little bit more. Okay, let's target weld this one over here. I'm going to grab this. I'm going to turn on my edge transform to move down here. And again, I'm going to try and stay roughly in line with other elements of the geometry. Maybe like that, and then this one here. Okay. I'll pull those up there. Take those in. Okay, so I think that's going to be okay. I'm going to maybe take these down just a little bit, something like that. Okay. So I think that's looking okay. It's going to be a little bit awkward. It's hard for us to kind of see, but I think that's kind of got the form there for that intake for us. I think what we'll do when we get up there is we'll think about how we're maybe going to join and create an underside for this. So once we've got that kind of spot on and nailed and we're happy with it, we'll maybe do one more edge going up, and then that edge can kind of come across here and maybe formulate the top of that intake. So I think for the most part we've done quite well in filling that gap. In the next episodes, I think what we'll do is we'll nail this intake here. And then once we've nailed that intake, we'll maybe start adding some extra little bits in, like we'll start to think about the glass, we'll start to think about re-topologizing the roof as well. And then we're almost at a point where we're ready to start extracting these and taking this from a base mesh to something that's a little bit more detailed. Alright guys, so we'll stop there for today. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the thumbs up. If you didn't, hit the thumbs down. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I will see you in the next one.